Hello and welcome back to the Limited Queue. A lot of you have been asking where I've been lately, and you're right, I have taken a little bit of a hiatus from drafting BFZ. Frankly, with just 4 real archetypes to choose from, drafting BFZ has gotten a little bit boring. The value of the set has dropped because so much of it has been opened. I'm ready to move on. So what I've been doing for the last few weeks is I've been playing a lot of Standard. Both in paper and online. This is the deck I've been running for the most part. It's gone through a few changes, but here it is as it stands. The history behind this deck is it was originally used by Danny Jessup in some SCG tournament. Then it was piloted by Ross Merriam. A similar version with that had Gideon's in it was piloted by Ross Merriam to 14th in the SCG Invitational, and now I'm running it. 2 weeks ago, I won my local Star City Games 1K with it. Walked away with a good chunk of money, and we'll go over how I spent that money in just a little bit. In another video, I'm going to do how I spent that money and how to invest in Magic cards is what's the up and coming thing. So I've broken the deck down into a few separate sections, and I wanted to run you through it. When you're playing against it, you think it's Mardu aggro, but it's not. It's really more along the lines of Mardu control. So the Duress is basic discard, and card selection for your opponents. That kind of falls into a category of its own. The rest I've put into 3 different categories. First is life gain, second is kill, and the third column here is card advantage. Now, the Seekers of the Way and the Soulfire Grandmasters, they, in some way or another, they get you life. It's a lot of fun when you are able to get up to 40 with an aggro deck. It really kind of makes you invincible. Your life gain in your lifelink is your main defense against Atarka Red. It's a main defense against Abzan as well. So the Seekers come down on turn 2, they come down early, and then on turn 3 you're usually casting something to trigger them, and then get in for 3 with lifelink. Same with Soulfire Grandmaster. You can put him down on turn 2, swing on turn 3, or you can put him down on turn 2 and then immediately bolt something with Fiery Impulse. Now, here's our kill spells. Now, if you'll notice, all but 3 of them, the Murderous Cut, do damage, so there's a lot of synergy here with Soulfire Grandmasters. The 4 Fiery Impulses are good early against Jaces, they're good against Wardens, and they're good against the 2/2 Death Touch dude that Abzan runs. Air of the Wilds? Is that what it's called? Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Roast is a one-of in the deck. There's 2 or 3 more in the sideboard in case you run up against Abzan. Roast also works very well with Soulfire Grandmaster. I have roasted a 1/1 plenty of times just to gain 5 life. And last but definitely not least is the Big Daddy Crackling Doom. Crackling Doom basically takes your opponent's biggest creature, puts it in the bin, regardless if it's got protection from anything, regardless if they have a pump spell or not, and they take 2 damage. That 2 damage also does lifelink. Also, you can gain lifelink off of the 2 damage. Alright, so basically, we're getting down a Seeker early, then we're pounding him in, and it's just going to be a tempo game with our removal. How do we keep this up? We keep this up with card advantage. Now, this last column here is cards that generate card advantage over time. The first of which I'm going to go over is Monastery Mentor. The 3 Monastery Mentors in the deck are a big deal. You don't want to play them out on turn 3. You want to play them out on turn 4 or 5, and then follow them up with a spell immediately. You don't want to play Monastery Mentor as a 2/2. You want to play Monastery Mentor as a 2/2 that spawns a 1/1 with prowess. Monastery Mentor creates threats. In my mind, I call him the army of 1. He can single-handedly take over a game when you're running a deck like this. Not as luxurious as Monastery Mentor, and also probably not as good, is Abbot of Keral Keep. Abbot of Keral Keep does basically cantrip into himself. I have used him. There's 2 ways I use Abbot of Keral Keep on a regular basis. I usually play him on turn 3 and hope to hit a land. And if I don't hit a land, then I either play one out of my hand or I curse a lot if I don't have one in hand. Or I will play him on turn 4 or 5. Because if you play him on turn 5, you can flip into just about every spell in the deck, other than Gideon and Outpost Siege, and be able to play it. So this way you don't waste the card advantage. Abbot is not so much of a body as he is a distraction. Abbot doesn't live very long in this format. I think I could probably count the times that I've done more than 2 damage with Abbot on one hand. It's not a beater. It's more of a distraction that cantrips and gains you a card. Painful Truths is basically the Black Treasure Cruise. It's definitely seen a lot of play. It's seeing play in blue decks that have other options for card draw, which I don't really understand, but that's what's happening. Painful Truths is definitely a format-defining card at the moment because I think it's the only Converge card that sees active from tournament play other than maybe Woodland Wanderer. And no, Joe Lossett, we're not talking about Bring to Light. Card draw in black is a bigger deal than I realized when the card first came out. It's a bigger deal. The drawing 3 cards with Truths instead of drawing 2 with Read the Bones is also a big deal. This card is very good, and another thing that makes it very good is that you can Seeker on turn 2, Painful Truce for 3 on turn 3, and then swing in with Seeker to gain all the life back that you just lost. That, I think, is a big power aspect of the card. We are running 1 Outpost Siege in the main. We have more on the side. Outpost Siege, I just love this card. I think it's great. If I was playing Esper Control, I would splash for Outpost Siege. I just think it's fantastic. And we're running 3 Gideons. Gideon, these actually used to be Monastery Swiftspears. I realized that the deck kind of needs a little bit more long game. So the Monastery Swiftspears are good early. Ended up siding them into Gideon, and I think I'm happier with the deck as using Gideons instead of Monastery Swiftspears. There's nothing more disheartening than being in top deck mode on turn 12 and top decking a Monastery Swiftspear. It's like, oh, you're late to work. You know, you're not what I want right now. But if you top deck a Gideon, that is a game-changing, momentous occasion. There is mana in the deck, even though my face was covering it. Wooded Foothills, Windswept Heaths, 1 Swamp, 2 Smoldering Marsh, 3 Vents, 2 Plains, 3 Mountains, and some Mires. Actually, we're going to change this right now. I was thinking either changing the 3rd mountain into a Smoldering Marsh or a Canopy Vista. We'll work on that later. Okie doke, let's take a look at the sideboard. These white cards right here, and you know what, we'll just put these Radiant Flames over here. This is what we bring in against Atarka Red. We have 6 cards here. Self-Inflicted Wound is very good against Abzan, and it's also good against Esper Dragons, although there's not a lot of Esper Dragons online. Ob Nixilis is great against Dark Jeskai, and Infinite Obliteration. I actually, when I play this deck in paper, I main board Infinite Obliteration. I love this card. Just because almost every deck in the format, you know what they're playing by turn 3, and in this deck specifically, it's another spell that triggers Seeker of the Way on turn 3. So you can drop Seeker on turn 2, turn 3 Infinite Obliteration, and then swing in for 3/3 lifelink. Also on the board is a 2nd copy of Roast for Abzan, and 2 Outpost Sieges. Outpost Siege, I can't talk enough about this card. I think it's amazing. I think it's great. I love bringing it in. Actually, I really like bringing it in against Abzan. The only downside being Dramoka's command kind of rocks our world with it. But I still like doing it because it forces them to have the command in hand, and if not, then we still gain card advantage off of it in the meantime. Okie doke. That's the deck I've been running. Like I said, I piloted this to a 1st place finish at a recent Star City Games 1K. If they ever update the deck list on their website, I will link to that article that Star City Games posts with my 1st place finish. But in the meantime, I'm going to take this deck and we're going to play a league with it, and we'll see what happens. So if you want to watch that, click the link and I'll see you there. Bye-bye.